What's good, everybody? It's your boy Skrilla The Hitman, back with another episode of Step Into My Office. And today we're going to be doing a tutorial video on signal flow. So let's get into it. Step into my office. Well, alright. Signal flow is the most important understanding an engineer has to have. When you're in a recording session and you see the meters moving on the screen but you can't hear any sound, that's a signal flow issue. When the mic isn't working, that's a signal flow issue. When the artist can't hear any sound in the headphones, that's a signal flow issue. Signal flow is the flowing pathway for the signal to travel from point A to point Z. Point A being the signal source and point Z being the final destination, the endpoint, aka the speakers. Now in this video, we'll be covering the basics of signal flow. So that means we'll be starting with the patch bay. Now, the patch bay is found in all professional studios. It is the most important section of all professional studios. It is the meeting point for all of the ins and outs for all of the gear. So we have to go to the patch bay in order to patch the signal from A to Z or any point in between. Now, there are many different types of patch bays. You have patch bays that have 24 channels, you have patch bays that have 48 channels, and you have patch bays that only have 8 channels or 16 channels. But you have different patch bays for different ins and out sections depending on the studio needs. Now, to keep it simple, I personally like to refer to this as the universal signal flow. And I call it the universal signal flow because whether you're in a home studio or a professional studio, the science is the same. Now, the universal signal flow is from the mic to the preamp, from the preamp to any outboard gear, from the outboard gear to the interface, from the interface to the DAW, from the DAW to the main output speakers. Now for today's example, we're going to be running from the Sony C800 to the Avalon, from the Avalon to the Carbon, from the Carbon to Pro Tools, and from Pro Tools to the Genelex. Alright, so let's take a look into Pro Tools. As you can see, as I'm talking, you can see that the signal is being recorded into the Pro Tools. I see me coming in pretty hot, but like I said, we're talking about signal flow. Now there's 2 stops that the signal makes before it goes into Pro Tools that we can actually reduce this gain by turning it down with the gain knob. We could reduce the gain on the Carbon or we could reduce the gain on the Avalon. Now keep in mind that all microphones have to have a power source, and usually that power source is in the preamp. Typically you'll find the power source as a 48 volt button or switch on the preamp or interface that you're using. Now if we come and take a look at the patch bay, we'll see that the mic input is going directly into the Avalon. The Avalon is where the preamp is. So it's going from the Avalon and then it's coming out of the Avalon over here. It's coming out of the Avalon and it's going straight into Pro Tools. Well, there you have it, the basic fundamentals of signal flow, or as I refer to it, the universal signal flow, which goes from the mic to the preamp, from the preamp to the interface, from the interface to the DAW, and from the DAW out the main outputs, aka the speakers. Now, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know if this video was helpful or if you just want to reach out for more tips. I'm always willing to help. Now, this was Step Into My Office with Skrilla The Hitman. See you next time.